It has been a while since we've done any kind of market recap video, and an even longer time since I've made one where it's just not all doom and gloom across the board. Recently, Heritage did have a 6th generation and beyond showcase auction, so it was stuff from GameCube era all the way into the future, and honestly, the results of this auction were pretty darn good. And I'm not saying this is the start of some insane bull run we're about to see the market flip or anything, but it might be the start of some kind of floors developing in the market, a little bit of confidence coming back. Maybe in 3 to 6 months, we won't be talking about how everything has fallen another 30%. And always do remember that throughout all of the games going down in price almost across the board, there's always going to be some games that sell very well no matter what. And what was cool about this auction is there was a ton of high-grade VGA stuff. Now, if you don't follow all of the auctions that take place in this world, I don't blame you. There's a lot of them across a lot of different auction houses, but generally speaking, Certified Link does offer a ton of high-grade VGA stuff. And the high-grade VGA stuff on Certified Link always does sell well. So just know this isn't some sudden flip to VGA being the most valuable brand or anything, but it could be a wake-up call for you to start paying more attention to high-grade VGA. And I am going to make a video right away talking about how I decide what's mint across these 3 companies, like what is a VGA 90, 90 plus, 95, 95 plus, compared to the WATA high grades, compared to the CGC high grades. So that video is coming soon to help you make sense of what these different grades mean across the companies. Subscribe if you want to see that. Say thank you to every single Patreon who helps support the channel, as well as the YouTube members. I can't do it without you guys. Hit the like button and let's look at some results. So right off the bat, you knew we have to discuss the VGA 100 Ocarina of Time 3D sold for $16,800. This makes it by far the most expensive 3DS game we have ever seen sell ever, anywhere. This takes the cake. So going into this auction, it's no surprise that a VGA 100 of such an iconic game in Ocarina of Time sold for a massive amount of money. And like I said with the Certified Link auctions, we do see VGA 100s, the rare times that they come up, sell for massive premiums. This is something I covered all the way back in May 2021. The VGA 100, even compared to a 95 or 95 plus, is going to blow it away in price. Once we start talking about the perfect grade from these companies, be it VGA, WATA, CGC, the price multiplier becomes irrational. And anecdotally speaking, the VGA 100 is supposed to be a lot harder to achieve than the WATA 10. I don't know how hard the CGC 10 is yet. We're still waiting for more data and more examples to come out. Pop reports for both VGA and CGC are hopefully coming soon, so we'll have more concrete answers on that. But even if VGA 100 is the hardest grade to get, it is absolutely not easy to get a WATA 10 or a CGC 10. They're all basically impossible. I know we joke about it on the channel, but this is truly buying the grade and not the game in its truest form, because if you compare this 100 to a VGA 95 or a VGA 95 plus or to a WATA 9.8 A++, I would almost guarantee that there is no discernible difference that you'd be able to make out on the condition of the game. It just is what it is. This also happens in cards. This also happens in comics. The highest of the high grades are extremely gate-kept by these companies, and they bring in massive premiums. My own opinion is that I really do like these perfect grades in theory, but I don't really like how the companies handle them, and I don't really agree with these massive premiums they bring in, like $16,800 here for Ocarina of Time. We also have Breath of the Wild second print CGC 10 selling for $3,300. We also have Animal Crossing 10.0 A++ for $2,600, as well as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate second print $2,500. We've seen these results. It's not a surprise that they sell for this much money. I just don't like it. I think it puts too much power in the hands of the grading company, or at least too much reliance in the grading company to never change their standards. Like, imagine if in 5 years, WATA, CGC, or VGA decided, hey, we are going to give out VGA 100s. We are going to give out the 10.0s. They slightly alter the scale in any way, and suddenly you'd have 10 times more perfect grades hitting the market, which would immediately saturate and lower the value. Like, all of the value in this VGA 100 relies on the fact that VGA is not giving out 100. If that ever changes for any reason, then a ton of the inherent value is lost. And that's just not something I want to gamble on whatsoever with these massive kinds of premiums attached. I'll buy 95s, I'll buy 95 pluses. The price changes could be maybe 2x, 3x, that's something I can understand. But with these sale prices, we're talking $16,000 here, we're talking $2,500 on Smash Ultimate. That's like a 10x or more than the second highest grade that exists. The person who bought this game was in my live chat and actually said he's super happy with the price. So it's clearly an amount of money and a market that I clearly can't participate in or even imagine, but that's where we're at with the perfect grades from these companies. They are still bringing in massive premiums even in this down market. Another really strong result from this auction was Halo Combat Evolved 9.6A Black Label copy. This is not the not for resale one. This is just a normal Black Label retail release copy. Went for $8,400. If we just bring up this handy dandy list here, you can see the last 9.6A that sold on Heritage was back in December for $5,000. It also beat the last two 9.6A and 9.6 9.6 A+ copies, 5,000 and 7,200 respectively. That was back in August 2022. We have to go back to the August signature auction actually, where a 9.6 A+ sold for only $600 more than the copy just ended for 3 days ago now, 4 days ago. And of course, if we go all the way back to 2021, 9.6 A sold for $31,000. So like I said, this isn't a, oh my god, the market's back, we're all going up. But in our time frame of 3 to 6 months, a lot of these results we're seeing are actually super strong. If we go to a 12 to 24 month outlook, yes, everything is still down tremendously. But short-term action becomes long-term trends, and that's why we also have to look at the market in these shorter time frames. First time CGC offers a copy of Halo, it did pretty damn well. A VGA 95 copy of Golden Sun on Game Boy Advance becomes one of the highest Game Boy Advance sales ever for something outside of Pokemon. $5,520 for it, which is actually twice as high as a 9.8 A++ WATA copy sold for on Golden Auctions back in February 2022. So this VGA 95 1 year later sold for 2x the 9.8 A++. That is a pretty insane result, and again talks to the strength here of these super high grade VGA games. Now there's always going to be nuance with that. Not every 95 is going to be a 9.8 A++ and vice versa, but for the most part the 95 should be the more desirable copy. With a lot of the stuff I've seen over the years, if I can be given either the WATA 9.8 or the 95, I'm gonna take the 95. A Mario Kart 3DS XL, going back to the launch of the 3D XL, I believe here with the Mario Kart 7 bundle, $2,880 there. If you're not aware, graded consoles are also doing very good in this climate. If you have 3DS consoles, 2DS, Game Boy Advances, if by any chance you have NES, Super Nintendo, N64s that aren't opened, they're doing very, very solid in these auctions, especially at these high grades. Again, getting that 95 on something like a 3DS XL, even if it's only 12 years old, is extremely, extremely impressive. Platinum Game Boy Advance also goes for $2,880, same price as the 3DS XL. It was pretty crazy to see one of these Fallout 3 Survival Editions come up. This has always been a pretty expensive special edition on Xbox. I believe Amazon exclusive for the Survival Edition. VGA 85 went for $2,400 on it, which cements it as one of the most expensive special editions on the console. Coming up at the signature, we're actually going to get to see Dead Space Ultra Limited sell as well, so that's going to be interesting to see how it compares against the Fallout 3 Survival. I'm pretty sure those are the two biggest on 360, hey? Survival Edition and Dead Space Ultra Limited. Let me know if there's another one I'm not remembering. Again, the absolute strength of high-grade VGA. 95 plus on the Let's Go Pikachu with Pokeball Plus goes for $2,300. 95 plus big box cardboard, even if it's on Nintendo Switch, even 2018, VGA does not give these grades out easily. I really can't stress it enough. Resident Evil 90 plus, almost the highest sale we've ever seen for GameCube Resident Evil. There never has been a 9.8 A++ come up for auction. 90 plus is the highest we've seen at any auction house. This sale for 2,040 just about matches the last time it sold for 2,080. Final Fantasy X, I do want to point out here, it is one that did go down if you compare WATA and CGC, the exact same. A WATA 9.8 A+ back in January sold for 2,640. The CGC 9.8 A+ here sold for 1,920. Like I said, if you compare WATA and CGC to be basically the exact same across their grades, which I think they basically are, I'm not hearing a lot of people say otherwise, the WATA copy did bring a $700 premium 2 months ago. I just want to point out that it's not everything going up in price and not everything doing amazing here. 2DS consoles, 95 here on the Ocarina of Time for $1,800, 3DS XL Pokemon Edition for $1,800. Super Mario Advance VGA 95 was also the highest sale we've ever seen of this game at $1,800, and Silent Hill Shattered Memories 9.6 A++ also by far the highest we've ever seen on this game at almost $1,700. Shattered Memories just doesn't really come up in high grade copies, so I'm guessing there was a lot of pent up demand for that one. Also, early copies of Oblivion have absolutely separated themselves from the pack as far as Xbox 360 goes. 9.6 A+ here, you have to have that little teen rating in the bottom of the corner, $1,560 for it. Factory sealed early print copies of Oblivion, very desirable right now. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with the controller, 90 plus VGA, $1,500. Again, high grade VGA bringing in those premiums. And again here with a 95 plus on Link Between Worlds bringing in almost $1,400. Also with Link Between Worlds, it looks like eBay has been absolutely littered by graded world copies. Make sure you do not buy a world copy for the same price that you would buy a standard North American release. The world copies are much more common, they're generally in much nicer shape as well, and they are much less desirable. Don't accidentally buy one of the UAE world copies if you're looking to buy a North American standard. One note with Harmony of Dissonance that I didn't mention during the live stream, this copy has a GBA masterpiece written on the game here. Does anyone know if that's the early print or the late print of this game? This copy, the one with the text, is only Pop 2 on the WATA report. Much more rare overall it seems, but I don't know if this is the early print or the later fingerprint, but the $1,440 price tag was very solid. Fortnite continues to be expensive, continues to be desirable. 9.4A sells for $1,260. Metroid Prime 2, an insanely good copy here. VGA 95 brought in $1,200. Right beside it was one of the biggest surprises of the auction for me. 9.6A plus on Time Splitters 2 went for $1,200. I didn't know that there were fans of this game to this degree. This seems crazy to me for this game. I don't know if this is replicable, but yeah, $1,200 for Time Splitters 2. 9.6A plus, nice copy of the game. I don't know, seems insane to me. So again, just talking about the high grade VGA, right? This is a 95 plus new Super Mario Bros. Wii, sold for $1,000. By far the highest we've ever seen this game sell at any of the auction houses, and it's 3 times the amount that a 9.8A plus sold for back in August. 9.8A plus versus 95 plus are worlds apart from each other. Comparing the two games, even if you were to just eyeball test them, you would know exactly which one is the 95 plus versus 9.8A plus every single time. 90 plus, 95, and 95 plus are probably all nicer than a 9.8A plus if we're talking about DVD games specifically. Cardboard at the 90 plus, you'd have to look at it a little bit more closely, but 95 and 95 plus are just better than 9.8A plus by quite a bit of margin. I want to point out the last story because I always like talking about this game because I have such a close collector relationship with it. Always thought to be one of the best Wii games you can purchase. This was always going to be a collector's item. Here's the VGA 95, basically perfect copy, selling for $780 now. This came out all the way back in 2012 for those who were around back then, which yes, it's selling for $780 is pretty darn good, but the odds of you having a 95 condition copy in your collection or your raw copy being a 95 is basically zero. So even if you kept this game sealed for the past 10 years, it just really didn't do that much. At least not compared to what everyone really thought it was gonna be. Last story, man, that was really gonna be the Wii Grail one day. And let's just end off with a note here on Mario Galaxy. This is a VGA 90 copy selling for $660, right? Mario Galaxy, of course, is down a lot from the highs. This game used to be selling regularly for over $1,000, which is just nuts. But $660 for the VGA 90. Now, the thing with Mario Galaxy, if we go to the pop report, 273 copies of the game have been graded, which, of course, right? Mario Galaxy, not a rare game. If we go to actual mint copies, and by this qualifier, I'm gonna say anything that has an A++ seal rating. Because like I said, if you have a 9.8A plus on a DVD style game, there could be a lot wrong with it. That's not really mint. So if we look at the 9.6s and the 9.8s, and we only count copies that have an A++ seal grade, there's 3 9.8s and 2 9.6s, which leaves essentially 5 copies of Mario Galaxy on the Wii that you could consider to be mint condition copies, and truly mean it, right? Like an actual mint condition copy. So this copy for $660 here as a 90 absolutely does have a chance to go 9.6A++ or 9.8A++. Those outcomes on a crossover are both in the realm of possibility for this game, which could mean the buyer of this at $660 made a fantastic purchase, and despite it being a very common game, will have it in extremely rare condition. If there's an auction result you'd like me to talk about, do some comparisons on, just let me know down in the comment section. Hopefully you enjoyed just looking at some results today. Hit the like button before you go, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.